You didn't find this video by accident. Something inside you called it in. Long before your fingers touched the screen, your higher frequency was already aligning with these words. That's not coincidence, that's quantum precision. The version of you beyond time orchestrated this exact moment so you could remember what you've always known, but forgot. Every click, every delay, every thought that brought you here was part of a silent design. This isn't a random scroll, it's a message. And the fact that you're still here means the message has begun. You didn't stumble into this, you summoned it. Now listen carefully, because what you're about to hear will change how you understand reality itself. What if this moment has been whispering your name since before you were born? What if everything that ever happened, every heartbreak, every delay, every sudden pull to open this video wasn't chaos but choreography? You didn't come across these words, they came across you, because something deeper than logic, older than memory, has been guiding you here all along. Long before you started searching for meaning, a subtler version of you was already planting the signs. The book that fell open to the perfect page. The stranger who said the right sentence at the right time, the sudden déjà vu that felt like a memory from another dimension. You called those coincidences. But the field of energy that surrounds all things, the quantum field, doesn't speak in accidents. It speaks in alignments. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel ripples into that field like a frequency. The universe doesn't listen to your words, it listens to your vibration. When your inner signal matches a moment's frequency, you meet it in physical form. That's why you're here now. This meeting between your eyes and these words is not digital, it's dimensional. Your higher self, the one beyond time, set this rendezvous so you could remember what remembering feels like. Think of life as a vast ocean of probability. Infinite waves rise and fall, each representing a different timeline of you. The one reading this is the version who finally tuned into the wave of awareness. You might call it luck. I call it coherence, the precise moment when your energy, intention, and destiny vibrate in unison. When coherence happens, reality rearranges itself to meet you halfway. This isn't theory, it's physics of consciousness. In quantum experiments, particles behave like chaos until they are observed. The act of observation awareness itself forces matter to choose a form. You are doing the same with your life. Each time you notice a pattern, each time you sense meaning in the random, you collapse potential into presence. You create order from possibility. That's why truth never feels like something new. It feels like remembering something ancient that has always been inside you. Notice what you're feeling right now. Maybe a tingling in your chest, a subtle calm behind your thoughts. That's alignment in motion, the body's way of saying this is real. For a moment, stop trying to analyze it. Just breathe and let the awareness expand. The more you feel this frequency, the more life begins to mirror it back. Conversations that reveal what you needed to hear. Numbers repeating until you finally listen, doors opening not by effort but by resonance. The human part of you may still doubt this. It wants proof, a map, control, but alignment doesn't need control, it needs trust. The mind builds walls of reason, but the heart was designed to walk through them. When you follow that subtle inner yes, reality bends to meet you in ways logic could never predict. You'll start to see how perfectly the puzzle fits, how every loss led to this remembering. And now, as you sit within this recognition, ask yourself, if I didn't find this by chance, then what else in my life has never been random? What if every unanswered question, every twist of timing was the universe in conversation with me? Hold that question softly like a spark in your palm. Because in the next part, we'll look at the science, the quantum mechanics that explains why your awareness is the architect behind every coincidence you've ever lived. What if I told you the universe is not made of things but of thoughts? Waves of information waiting for attention to give them shape. Quantum physicists discovered that the smallest building blocks of matter don't behave like solid objects. They exist as pure potential vibrations, probabilities, possibilities. Until someone looks. The moment observation occurs, the wave collapses and energy becomes form. It's called the observer effect. The simple act of witnessing changes what is witnessed. And that same law applies not just to electrons in a lab, but to the events of your life. Every time you focus on something, an emotion, a dream, a fear, you are observing it into existence. You are the consciousness that tells energy how to behave. Your attention is the paintbrush, and the quantum field is the canvas. That's why when you dwell on worry, life gives you more reasons to worry. When you feel gratitude, more arrives to be grateful for. Not because some cosmic vending machine grants wishes, but because vibration recognizes vibration. The outer world harmonizes with the inner signal you emit. This is quantum alignment, the synchronization between your inner state and the infinite field of energy that responds to it. Scientists once believed the universe was a mechanical clock. But now we know it's more like music, vibrating frequencies interacting in a symphony of consciousness. Your body, your thoughts, your emotions are instruments in that orchestra, and coherence happens when all of them play in tune. Picture yourself standing before a vast mirror made of light. Every emotion you feel is reflected back as an experience. Most people try to change the reflection by touching the glass, forcing life to move differently. But the mirror only shifts when the one observing it changes vibration. That's why external control never brings peace. It's the illusion of rearranging the mirror while ignoring the source. Let me tell you a simple story. A woman once wrote that she kept seeing the same sequence of numbers 1111 on clocks, receipts, and signs. At first, she dismissed it as random, but one night, exhausted from doubt, she whispered, "If this is you, universe, show me something undeniable." The next morning, she received an email titled "Alignment Confirmed," not from a spiritual teacher, but from her job's scheduling system. That was the universe speaking her language, using the data of everyday life to communicate alignment. That's how subtle and how precise this field is. When your thoughts, emotions, and actions align, the field responds instantly. You felt it before, that surge of perfect timing, the uncanny way help appears right when needed. It isn't luck, it's coherence. The puzzle pieces were always scattered. Your awareness simply snapped them into place. In those moments, the division between me and life dissolves. You realize you were never separate from the intelligence guiding everything. You are that intelligence peering through human eyes. The deeper truth is this: consciousness and reality are not two. They are the same essence, vibrating at different speeds. Matter is slow light, thought is fast matter. And when you become conscious of that dance, you begin to participate in creation instead of reacting to it. Now pause and breathe. Let that idea settle, not in your mind, but in your body. Because when you start feeling truth rather than analyzing it, it rewrites your energy from within. So the question is not whether you influence reality. The question is, how conscious are you of the influence you already have? In the next part, we go beyond theory into the living connection between you and your quantum self, the version of you that exists beyond time, guiding every synchronicity you've ever experienced. What if the future you is not waiting ahead, but whispering from all directions at once? Imagine a version of you that never forgets who you are, that sees every lifetime, every moment as a single shimmering mosaic of experience. That's your quantum self-consciousness, unbound by time. It doesn't live inside your brain lives inside it. It's the intelligence observing your timeline from a dimension where past, present, and future are one flowing field. Every intuitive nudge, every sudden knowing is a signal from that timeless self. You call it instinct, you call it déjà vu. But those are echoes of memory bleeding through the walls of time. Quantum physics shows that subatomic particles can influence one another instantaneously, even light years apart, what Einstein called spooky action at a distance. That same entanglement exists between you and your higher self. The communication is constant, you just forgot how to listen. Think about the last time you said, "I knew this would happen." That was coherence between timelines, your quantum self nudging the physical you into alignment. It already walked the path, already knows the feeling of the outcome, and it sends signals through resonance, sensations, dreams, coincidences to guide your steps. The only question is, are you quiet enough to feel it? The quantum self speaks in energy, not words. It doesn't shout over the noise of your thoughts. It hums underneath them. When you feel drawn to call someone, when a phrase repeats in your mind, when a random video opens a forgotten truth that's not random. That's your higher frequency orchestrating reminders from beyond the veil of logic. Once I ignored that voice. I took a job that looked perfect on paper but felt heavy in my chest. Every sign said, "Wait yet." I forced control. Months later, the company collapsed and I realized the discomfort had been guidance, my future self steering me toward a truer path. Since then, I've learned that life whispers long before it screams. Your quantum self doesn't operate on calendar time. It works through resonance. When your vibration matches its frequency, calm, present, expanded communication becomes effortless. You begin to feel life moving through you, not against you. Ideas arrive in silence. People appear as answers. Obstacles dissolve not because you fought them, but because you rose beyond their vibration. This is not fantasy. Quantum biology now shows that even your cells use entanglement to communicate across the body faster than nerve signals could travel. You are literally wired for multidimensional awareness. The more coherent your inner state, the stronger that signal becomes. Meditation, gratitude, breath. These are not spiritual cliches. They are technologies of synchronization. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine the version of you beyond time, luminous, calm, smiling at your unfolding. It's not trying to fix you. It's inviting you to remember. When you breathe slowly, you merge frequencies, human and infinite, meeting in the space between heartbeats. In that stillness, everything makes sense without needing explanation. You felt it before, that quiet certainty, that subtle yes that needs no proof. That is your higher self speaking. The more you trust it, the louder it becomes. You stop chasing signs and start embodying them, because alignment isn't something you find. It's something you remember. So ask yourself, if the version of me beyond time already knows the way, what would it have me do next? Hold that thought not as a question for your mind, but as an opening for your energy. Because in the next part, we'll decode the language of synchronicity and learn how your quantum self uses symbols, numbers, and timing to speak directly with you through the rhythm of reality itself. Have you ever noticed the same numbers repeating, or a stranger saying exactly what you needed to hear? Have you ever thought of someone right before they messaged you? Most people brush it off as coincidence, but in the quantum field there is no coincidence, only communication. Synchronicity is the language your higher self speaks when words fall short. Everything in the universe vibrates, and vibration carries information. The quantum field around you is alive, aware, and responsive. When your internal state changes, the field mirrors that change back through patterns in your environment. Numbers, symbols, unexpected alignments. These are how your higher frequency leaves you breadcrumbs across timelines. Each one whispers you're on the right track. The mistake many make is searching for signs instead of feeling them. They chase numbers, interpret meanings, and turn miracles into mental puzzles. But the field doesn't speak to your logic, it speaks to your resonance. You don't attract synchronicity by trying harder. You align with it by being fully present. When your thoughts, emotions, and energy vibrate in coherence, the outer world begins to echo that harmony. Reality becomes conversational. Let me tell you a story. A man once wrote in his journal that he longed to move across the world but didn't know how. The next morning, while scrolling online, he saw a random video where the speaker mentioned his exact dream city, the same one in the first sentence. Hours later, an email arrived offering a remote job based there. Coincidence? From one perspective, yes. From the quantum view, it was alignment, his inner frequency broadcasting so clearly that the universe could finally respond. When you live in awareness, life becomes a dialogue. You notice how events rhyme. You see the poetic intelligence behind timing. The person who delays you 5 minutes might be saving you from a crash. The missed opportunity might be redirecting you toward purpose. The silence after a prayer might be the universe rearranging everything in your favor. Synchronicity isn't meant to impress you. It's meant to awaken you, to remind you that you are both sender and receiver of the message. Each pattern you notice is your own consciousness waving from beyond the veil, saying, "I'm here. Keep going." This understanding turns every day into a living meditation. You stop waiting for miracles and start recognizing that every breath, every encounter, every random alignment is one. Even hardship becomes sacred, a coded message guiding you toward coherence. When you begin to trust this flow, you'll see life responding with precision that feels almost magical. The right people appear without planning. The right words find your tongue when someone needs healing. Synchronicity is how the universe calibrates you to your next evolution. It's consciousness playing hide and seek with itself, and every aha moment is a reunion. But to speak this language fluently, you must release the need to control it. Signs don't come to satisfy curiosity. They come to confirm vibration. The question isn't, what does this number mean, but what am I feeling when I see it? The emotion is the code. Pause for a second. Think about a recent coincidence that made you stop and wonder. Instead of asking why it happened, ask who was communicating through it. Notice the shift that awareness transforms passive observation into conscious participation. Because the more you listen to this subtle dialogue, the clearer it becomes. Synchronicity evolves from surprise into symphony, a constant dance between your human and quantum selves. Now let's go one level deeper. If synchronicity is communication, then what frequency are you transmitting? In the next part, we'll uncover how to embody the vibration of alignment so completely that life no longer has to send you signs, because you become the sign itself. You don't attract what you want. You align with what you are. The universe isn't responding to your words, it's responding to your vibration. You can speak affirmations all day, but if your body still carries the frequency of doubt, the signal gets scrambled. Alignment isn't about forcing reality, it's about tuning to the frequency of your highest truth and letting reality rearrange around it. Every emotion you feel is a form of communication between your human self and your quantum self. When something excites you, that's your higher frequency calling you home. When something feels heavy or off, it's not rejection, it's redirection. The body is a compass designed to guide you through the multidimensional map of your own becoming. Think of a radio. The song you want is already playing on another station. You don't chase it across the airwaves, you simply turn the dial until you match its frequency. That's alignment. And when you finally tune in, you realize the music was never gone, you just weren't resonating with it yet. Let me tell you a story. A woman I met at a retreat shared that she had spent years trying to manifest love. She visualized, journaled, repeated affirmations, but always met partners who mirrored her wounds. Then one morning during meditation, she stopped asking for love and started feeling it. She filled her own energy field with the sensation of being cherished, supported, seen. 3 weeks later, she met someone who matched the exact frequency she had been embodying. The secret wasn't magic, it was resonance. You've experienced this too. Think of the moments when you felt completely alive. Time disappeared. Creativity flowed, life seemed to move with you instead of against you. That's coherence, your inner and outer worlds vibrating as one. It's not luck, it's physics. Coherence reorganizes matter, synchronizes opportunity, and amplifies clarity. The challenge is consistency. Many people touch alignment for a few minutes, then fall back into fear, control, or self-doubt. But alignment isn't a destination, it's a state of being renewed every breath. You maintain it not by effort, but by awareness. Every thought that feels heavy is an invitation to rise. Every emotion that feels dense is energy asking to be transmuted, not judged. So how do you embody it? Start by listening. Notice what expands your energy: conversations, music, environments, people, and what contracts it. Move toward expansion. Speak truth even when your voice shakes. Create without waiting for permission. Breathe with intention. The more you act from coherence, the more the field reorganizes in your favor. When alignment becomes your lifestyle, you stop chasing signs because you become the sign. Your presence radiates order into chaos, peace into noise. You walk into a room and people feel calmer without knowing why. That's quantum influence, coherence transmitting through your electromagnetic field. And here's the paradox: embodiment doesn't mean perfection. It means choosing truth over comfort, presence over reaction, love over fear again and again. Even when you stumble, even when you forget, each return to awareness strengthens the frequency. Take a deep breath. Feel your heart pulsing. That rhythm is the universe keeping time through you. You are the instrument and the melody. The more you play consciously, the more reality harmonizes to your tune. So pause and ask yourself, what vibration am I broadcasting right now? Is it fear disguised as control or faith disguised as surrender? Because the answer determines the next sequence life reflects back to you. In the next part, we'll explore why alignment sometimes feels difficult to sustain and uncover how resistance itself is not your enemy but your teacher in disguise, showing you exactly where your energy still longs to be free. What if the universe isn't testing you at all? It's mirroring you. Every obstacle, every delay, every closed door is not punishment but precision, feedback from the field. Resistance isn't the enemy. It's the echo of an outdated vibration meeting a higher frequency trying to emerge. When your energy expands faster than your beliefs, friction appears. That tension is not failure. It's transformation in progress. Imagine a river carving its way through rock. The water doesn't stop when it meets resistance. It softens the stone until the way opens. That's what your challenges do. They sculpt the shape of your evolution. Every moment that feels hard is consciousness rubbing against its own edges to remember it's infinite. Most people misinterpret this process. They think alignment means everything flows effortlessly, so when life feels heavy, they assume they've lost the magic. But true alignment includes both flow and friction. The light can only reveal itself through contrast. Without darkness, expansion has no edge to push against. Let me tell you something real. Years ago, I reached a point where everything I thought I wanted began to crumble: relationships, plans, identity. I begged the universe for clarity, but silence answered. Only later did I realize that the silence was the answer. I wasn't being abandoned. I was being emptied, cleared of frequencies that could not follow where my next vibration was heading. The breakdown was not a breakdown. It was a recalibration. Resistance is the body's way of showing where energy still clings to fear. When you feel anxiety rise, don't fight it. Observe it. Awareness dissolves resistance faster than any method. Each time you witness discomfort without judgment, you collapse a wave of old energy into stillness. You reclaim power from the pattern. This is how the quantum field teaches compassion. It mirrors not your words, but your vibration until you love every part of yourself enough to stop rejecting it. The moment you stop resisting the resistance, it transforms into fuel. Pain becomes wisdom. Doubt becomes direction. Loss becomes liberation. The universe doesn't speak in punishment, it speaks in patterns. Every loop that keeps repeating the same argument, the same setback, isn't fate. It's feedback. The field keeps echoing the lesson until the vibration integrates. Once you embody the awareness behind it, the loop ends because the signal has served its purpose. You might be wondering if everything is a mirror. How do I know when to act and when to surrender? The answer is simple: act. When your energy feels expansive, surrender when it feels tight. Expansion is the voice of flow. Contraction is the call to pause and realign. Neither is wrong. Both are necessary rhythms in the dance of evolution. Remember, your higher self isn't trying to make life easy. It's trying to make life authentic. Resistance strips away illusion until only truth remains. And truth doesn't need force, it simply resonates. So the next time you face friction, breathe and whisper. This too is alignment in disguise, because it is. Each challenge fine-tunes your signal, polishing you into coherence. Now that you understand resistance not as an obstacle but as a guide, you're ready to step into the final shift, living in continuous alignment where separation dissolves and you become the living bridge between human and infinite. So ask yourself, if resistance is simply consciousness realigning itself, then what happens when I stop fighting and start flowing? In the final part, we'll explore how to become the alignment itself, to live as the field in motion, the observer and the creation. The wave in the ocean until every breath you take becomes a portal of awakening. What if you stopped chasing alignment and realized you are alignment? What if every inhale was the universe breathing itself into form through you? In this awareness, there is nothing to reach for, only something to remember. Alignment isn't a destination, it's the natural rhythm that returns when you stop pretending to be separate. Look around. Every sound, every flicker of light, every person crossing your path is an expression of the same field vibrating in different forms. When you drop resistance, you don't lose individuality, you illuminate it. You start to see that the universe has never been out there. It's right here, looking back through your eyes. Becoming the alignment means living as the space between moments, the silent witness behind thought, emotion, and movement. When you observe without judgment, reality softens. The mirror stops reflecting your confusion and begins echoing your coherence. You no longer force synchronicities. They unfold naturally like waves recognizing the ocean they already belong to. Let me tell you something beautiful. When you reach this state, your presence becomes medicine. Without effort, you recalibrate rooms. People feel safe without knowing why. Your laughter dissolves tension. Your stillness restores balance. That's the power of coherent energy. It transmits peace faster than words can describe. There's no longer a divide between the spiritual and the ordinary. Doing the dishes, walking in the rain, answering an email, every act becomes sacred when performed in awareness. The quantum field doesn't measure holiness by rituals or robes. It measures resonance. When your inner frequency vibrates in truth, the smallest gesture carries cosmic weight. You will still feel anger, sadness, fear, but they will move through you, not define you. Each emotion becomes a visitor carrying a message, not an intruder to resist. True awakening is radical acceptance of all vibrations as facets of the same consciousness. You realize enlightenment isn't escape, it's embodiment. This is the quiet revolution to live as presence, to let your existence itself be a prayer. You don't need to prove, convince, or perform. Just be. Every second you live in coherence, you shift the collective field. Every breath of awareness ripples through the grid of humanity, whispering, remember. And now, as we close this circle, take a deep breath. Feel your body resting in the field that created galaxies. You are not a wave lost at sea. You are the sea exploring itself as a wave. You are the witness, and the witness the question, and the answer the silence and the song. The seeking ends when you realize you were what you sought all along. Life stops being a puzzle and becomes a poem written by consciousness, read by consciousness through you. So now, before you move on, pause. Ask yourself, what would my world look like if I lived every day as alignment in motion? Because this exact moment is your proof that the field is listening. It always has been. If this message resonated, share it. Drop a single word in the comments, the vibration you choose to embody now. Love, flow, freedom. Your declaration strengthens the field for everyone. You didn't find this video. It found the you ready to remember. Welcome home to alignment. Welcome to yourself.